how not to drive a jet ski. I'll turn that on to the exam. How not to drive a jet ski, Sam Evans.
To drive a jet ski. I'm going to go through 3 main points on how not to drive a jet ski. So, point number 1 is do not go out on your jet ski without first of all checking the weather and the knots. Rule number 2 is do not take your mobile phone out on your jet ski. And rule number 3 is if you're going to an unfamiliar territory or area, do not go out without firstly checking Google Earth so you can see where the reefs are and the shallowness, etc. Now the reason why this is relevant to me is because about 6 weeks ago I bought myself a jet ski. So I was all excited, I took the jet ski out, I took my 2 brothers with me, and I did check the weather before I went, and my brother Jack, it was his birthday the day that he came out, so he had his mobile phone with him, and I said, well maybe you should leave the mobile phone in the car, and he said, oh no, I don't want it to overheat in the car. I said, okay, well that's on you, it's your risk. So I did check the weather, we get out there, it was in the bay, the end of North Road Beach and Brighton, and the waves were horrendous, it was ridiculous, but I thought, oh, waves, wind, it's fine, I'm on a jet ski, that's what jet skis are made for. So on we get, and we just got air the whole time. We're just bouncing from one wave to the next. So I don't know how my brother Ben on the back managed to stay on. I think he was pretty much just going like a kite behind the back. I don't think his butt touched the seat once. So anyway, this went on for a little while, and then of course we flipped it. So we're bobbing around in the bay, trying to get this jet ski to flip back over, and of course we couldn't because the waves were just coming over us and crashing on us. Thinking, oh my goodness. So finally we get it over, me and Ben get on, and my brother Jack gets on the back and he keeps flipping us in because he just keeps overbalancing us. Anyway, long story short, we eventually get on and we finally get back to shore. It took an hour though, and we got back in one piece. I can't say the same for my brother's mobile phone though, because it was completely waterlogged, and it was completely waterlogged with salt water. And as I said, it was his birthday, so he actually had to wait a week before he could get his phone to go back on and receive all his birthday messages. So to reiterate, rule number 1, do not go out without checking the weather forecast. Rule number 2, do not take your mobile phone. Getting on to rule number 3, do not go out in unfamiliar territory without checking Google Earth first. So over the Christmas holidays, I went up to Phillip Island. I was taking my friends out jet skiing at Cowes. We got down to the beach, and again the waves were ridiculous, and I thought, well, I've learnt that lesson, we're not going out in that. So we drove down to New Haven. I was being all responsible, and the water at New Haven was amazing. Obviously I'd never been there before, but the water was glass. I'm looking out there thinking, I wonder why there's no other jet skis. I thought, oh well, they're missing out. So I put the jet ski in, I put my friend Jordan on the back, and off we go. I'm looking at the bottom and thinking, oh, I can see the bottom, I don't really like this. So going out further and further, I can still see the bottom, can't see the shore anymore, but that's fine. We finally get to blue water, thinking good, there's nothing under it that we're going to hit. So we just gunned it, doing 60 k's, having a great time. As we're going along, I look beside me, and about 10 metres away, I see a flock of birds, and I can see their legs for some reason. We're out in the middle of Western Port Bay, and I can see those birds, and I said to Jordan, are those birds on the water, or are they standing on something? And he says, they're standing on something. So what are they standing on? So I wasn't happy going that fast when the birds are standing on something. So we take the jet ski back in one piece, thank goodness, and then my kids want to come out with me because they were waiting on the bank. So I thought, alright, I'll take them out for a quick little spin, put them on the back. We're going slow because I know it's quite shallow at the start, and when I think we're all clear, I give it a bit of stick and we're off. Then all of a sudden I hear a big bang underneath my jet ski, and I'm going, oh my god, what have I just hit? Then all of a sudden we're driving along and it goes boom, boom, and it completely stops. The engine shuts off, and I've looked down, water's all moving because of the motion, and it stopped. And when I could see, it was about this deep where we were, even though we're in the middle of Western Port Bay, because we couldn't see the shore again, but I can see the water, I've hit a sandbank out in the middle of Western Port, and it's full of all this seagrass just swaying like this. So all of a sudden I think all this stuff must be lodged in my jet ski because I'm not moving. So I get off, and I'm literally in water by instinct, even though it looks like I'm in the ocean. It's just ridiculous, and my kids are going, "What are you doing on me?" I'm like, well. So I'm checking the back of the jet ski, of the jet. I can't see any seaweed in there. I don't know the first thing how to work these things. I just know you get on them and drive them. So my kids are like, "Come on, mummy." So I get on it, and I'm trying to turn it on, and it won't go on. And the engine made this really big loud noise. It was nearly bursting out eardrums. It was horrible. It was saying check engine, the screen on the jet ski. So I knew we weren't going anywhere. We were just going to be stuck there. And then I saw all these boats. So the three of us are doing distress calls to all these boats, and they're just looking, going, "Oh," and they're not doing anything. They're not saving us. So the three of us are stuck out there. So I knew that my only options were to either drift out to the sea forever or try and swim it back in. So obviously that was my only option. So I had to walk the jet ski for a bit over this revolting seagrass. I don't know what other animals or things are in there with me. I'm just walking on it, and then there's all these rock pools, and obviously you get horrible things in rock pools. So I'm thinking, I don't like this. So I got on the back of the jet ski, and I had to paddle my legs and swim us back in. Had all coral scratches all over my arms, and Elise was like, having a great time. Elise is going, "Oh, Mummy, look at the beautiful starfish." I don't want to see any starfish. I don't want to see any animal or any creature in this ocean. I don't want to know about it. I just want to get back to the shore with all my limbs still attached to me and without any other creature attached to me as well. And it was only a week before that my mother had told me about all the great white sharks in Western Port Bay. So that was fantastic knowledge to have at the time as well. So I get the jet ski back to shore. It's about 40 minutes of swimming, and I put my jet ski on the trailer, and I have a look under it. There's literally a clump of seaweed stuck in the motor, which I discovered where the motor was once I got it on the jet ski. I was like, "Oh, it's under there, isn't it?" Anyway, so I pulled that out, took it back to the holiday house, and I had to blow all the seagrass out with the hose. I even had full shell mussels coming out of the engine. It was just everything in there. So anyway, I looked on Google Earth that night at the terrain, and there's actually a canal dredged out from the boat ramp around to the right, and that's where all the boats and jet skis are meant to go because it's just a reef area. Instead, I just went straight into the reef, and I wasn't going to get any deeper the further I went because there was nothing but reef. So as I ran through before, rule number 3 was always check Google Earth before you go out in unfamiliar territory. So to conclude, rule number 1 was always check the weather and the knots. Don't go out over 15 knots. Rule number 2, don't take your mobile phone out. Rule number 3, make sure you check Google Earth when you're in unfamiliar territory. But maybe just to be safe, the best bet of all is probably just to never come out on a jet ski again.